Ciao, Juventus fans. My name is Justin Sofro, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Bianconeri Zone. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and it's my pleasure and my privilege that I get to tell you about the launch of our YouTube channel for the Bianconeri Zone. If you know anything about the Bianconeri Zone, you probably know us from Twitter, from Instagram. If you're over 40 years old, maybe our Facebook page, as well as we also have a website. We cover lots of news, reports, different stuff on there, as well as I do player ratings there. If you know my name, it's probably because you hate me, because I've rated Ronaldo pretty poorly on the site as of recently. We'll talk about that eventually. But for now, I'm excited to talk about this in the future of what it holds for Bianconeri Zone. So what can you expect from the Bianconeri Zone YouTube channel? We will be providing you consistent Juventus content of regular video updates, live streams, news, preview, post-game, and of course, Mercado updates regularly throughout the season, and of course, coming into the summer. All starting June 1st. Yours truly will be hosting a regular news wrap-up video each evening covering the Juve news and rumors for the day. All the little rumors, all of the little transfer details, all of that, we'll be compiling it all to get it to you every evening. So I know every morning you wake up, you have your coffee, there's plenty of videos or news reports, you read the Tutto Sport, you read Gazzetta, all those, but you'll have us to go to bed with. We here at the Bianconeri Zone have a motto. And if you look at our main page, you see our header, it'll say it right there big and loud, and it'll say, for the fans, by the fans. And we say that, we truly mean it. We don't mean like these, the owners of all the different teams in the Super League that backed out just for money, trying to win their fans back. What we mean is for the fans, by the fans. We're fans just like you and everybody else. This is our passion. This is what we care most about. Our vision is to develop a community, not just a Juventus channel, but a platform for you to play a role in. Think about your local Juve club that you have. You can get together with friends and fans, watch the game, all that, but think about it on a grander scale. That's basically what we're thinking. What we want to do, and that's our passion, is to introduce Juventus fans from around the world, men, women, of all different nationalities, races, cultures, and to come together by one thing, is our love for Bianconeri football. So basically when I say that, what we want to do is we want to know who you are. We want to tell your story. We want to introduce you to each other, and we want to bring you on. We're going to have shows. We're going to have live streams. We're going to have pre-game, post-game, all that. And we'll bring you the opportunity to join us in there, talk to us, get to know you, and basically just enjoy Juventus football. That's what we love. That's what we care about. But we want to know you. It's one of the things that I found most interesting, basically in the time when I was able to travel to Italy, was getting to know the local people, to know them, to know their story, or anytime I travel anywhere, just to get to know the different cultures and just see what life is like for them. That's what we want to do. We want to dive into that and see how you came to where you came to be with Juventus and your love for Juventus, because we all have different roads, but all led us to the same place. So talking about that, what I want to do right now is basically give you an example of where we're going to go with this. I'm going to give you my story of how I got here, why I love Juventus, and what it means to me. So basically where it begins for me, it all comes back to my great-grandfather. My great-grandfather, Stefano Sofro, his family came from Syracuse, Sicily, and they immigrated to the Americas in the early 1900s from Sicily and from Italy. He lived to be about 94, and he passed away when I was 10 years old. We were very close. It's funny how, I know it's kind of rare sometimes for some people to have their great-grandparents in their life, but he meant so much to me. Even though I was only 10, he really taught me what it meant to be a man, and what it taught to just to be a good family person, to care and love for one another. He was your quintessential Italian man. Like, he's my idea, whatever people talk about, just the welcoming, the loving, the care, all that, it comes back to him. He always would have this phrase, "What's cooking?" And I can still hear him say it today, even though it's been over 2/3 of my life ago. But he was the most important person to me. I loved the time that we had together. Everything, it meant so much to me. To me, he was the prime role model of what it means to be a man. And I feel like he kind of instilled those Italian values into me and my family of what it means to be a man and what it means to care for your family first. After my grandfather passed away in September of 2000, I think there was always this still kind of a place where, I was sad, but I wasn't I understood he was in his 90s, not maybe able to live that long. So I understood it was time. It wasn't, that hard, difficult. But there was a missing piece. There was something like a hole in my life that I felt I needed to fill. There was a void there left by him when he was no longer in my life anymore. So basically, I took this time. I was 10 years old, and over the years, I just pursued, closest things I could get to about Italy. So, I'd read about Italy, I'd look up stuff and all that. And then eventually, I came across the Azzurri, the Italian national football team. And that is where it all started from there. I would watch them. I love sports. Here locally, we have American football, we have basketball and all that. Mainly living in Louisville, Kentucky, it's a basketball state. There's not a lot of European football here. But here locally, I would have my chance to watch the Italian national team whenever the FIFA World Cup would be on, or the Euros. And that's mainly the main source of Italian sport that I got in my life at that time. Especially living here, it wasn't on, it wasn't like it is now where you can just live stream it every day. And I'm thankful for that now. But basically starting out, it was so much had to do with just watching it and enjoying the different players. And just, there was something about it. It's odd to say, but it felt like home. Just watching them play, watching the fans, the excitement, the joy, the love, the enthusiasm. There's a lot of heart there. And it reminded me of my family, my great-grandfather. During the summer of 2006 was when it came to a head. You had so many good players. Obviously, looking back in retrospect, now I see why it was so easy to fall in love with that team. But, you had Andrea Pirlo, you had Gattuso, you had Cannavaro. But most importantly to me were the two players that stuck out most were Gianluigi Buffon and Alessandro Del Piero. And it was something about those players and their love and their enthusiasm in the field of play that just it attracted me from day one. I had no idea they played for the same team. I had no idea, any of their history, besides the couple times I've seen them. But, I was young. I didn't really pay attention too much to the players. I just watched the game. But it was during the World Cup that I really, I just enjoyed watching Buffon's leadership, and then just watching the energy that Del Piero played with. But I remember there was a moment when my heart switched, and I knew this is the main person I want to follow and who I want to be a fan of, and that was Del Piero. In the Germany semifinal, that second goal that they scored in the 121st minute to seal the victory. That was the one that just I knew this is somebody I'm excited watching. It's a sporting moment that I can only describe as looking back. I'll never forget that moment where I was watching it, the excitement, the joy, all that. Beating the host country in that match was so big to me. But then to go on and beat, France after that in PKs, that was exciting. Watching Buffon and his contributions there and sealing that victory for us, it was huge. It was just so much passion and joy. And also, it's kind of a thing here locally in 2006. And I live in Louisville, Kentucky. There's not a lot of Italians here. There's a few here and there. I went to school with a couple that I found out were fans of other teams in Serie A. Now I know that. But at the time, there weren't that many, people doing it. But after that, so many people were talking about Italy. So many people were talking about the excitement, the fun of that team, watching it. It was weird because you don't get that a lot here locally. So it was a lot of pride that I had in my heritage and where I came from, and knowing my great grandfather would have been happy. But it was after that 2006 World Cup final that I started to get more of an itch of I can't do this. I can't only watch every 4 years or every few years or couple years when they're playing and they're actually on live TV here locally. I need to, find somewhere to commit to be a regular club fan. And that's when I started doing my research. I started looking up, all the different teams. At first, I started looking more locally into where my family was from in Sicily. And I know that team had a lot of players from Palermo. I still have kind of a soft spot for Palermo, but it was Juventus when I saw and I read the rosters and I was going through where the players were from. And I saw that Buffon and Del Piero were both Juventus players. It was done. It was game over. I had to watch every game okay, this is sad. Back in those days, there was a lot of getting on the internet and checking scores and updates after the games. It was, not as often that you'd see them on TV here locally, except for the big games. And of course, I was always watching those. But it was from that day forward that I just stayed up to date all the time, watching them, enjoying them, loving. And it was just something that brought to me joy, watching these players who just reminded me so much of that family of where I came from, about the man who taught me what it means to be a man. and to see where I'm going to go in the future. It also didn't hurt that when I was looking up, because I already had a love for the Azzurri, that I was going through like the history and the pride of like what clubs, had contributed what players to where, and it was always Juventus was number one. They were always the ones that had the most Azzurri players. So that's something that you'll also hear from me on this channel. And I'm a bit biased. You can call me out on it. Feel free when you jump on here. I'll take all the slings and arrows. But I'm very biased when it comes to wanting Azzurri players, good Azzurri players, but especially Azzurri players on the team. To me, having that Azzurri core is huge. You can debate it. That's fine. I'll be more than happy to hear your point of view. But it's just something that sticks with my heart, mainly because of my great-grandfather. Juventus, to me, epitomized what it meant to be a proud Italian club. You had these Juventus players like Buffon and Del Piero that showed and exemplified what it meant to be a proud Italian, an Italian champion. Really, it was the fantastic play on the pitch and the fantastic personalities of these individuals from the 2006 Juventus Azzurri players that really reflected the lessons that my great-grandfather, taught to me of what it meant to be Italian. To me, the story of the Azzurri is the story of Juventus. Juventus has contributed so many players to these teams that have, amounted these 4 championships that we have, that without Juventus, the Azzurri wouldn't be what they are today. So that's why I just love that balance of club and country. So that's my story, but now we want to hear yours. Comment below and let us know your story of why you're a Juventus fan, why you love the club so much, and how you got to where you are today. And we'd love to have you on in the future. Leave your information. If you have a Twitter, if you have an Instagram, anything like that, feel free to DM us and let us know your story and let us know that you'd be interested in participating in this project and being a part of our community. Just a reminder, June 1st is the official launch date for our channel. So please feel free to subscribe, like our video, and then go and follow us on Bianconeri Zone at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as well as Justin Sofro on Twitter at Justin Sofro. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.